Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. We're stepping back to the holiday season of 1917 to look at the story of Emily and Lyle. On the surface, sure, it's a quiet tale of two young people in San Diego figuring out Thanksgiving and Christmas, but when you look a little closer, it's literally a masterclass in how paying precise, quiet attention to someone is basically the ultimate act of romance. We're going to see how two super analytical, practical minds totally redefine what it means to give a gift and really show someone you care.
So set the scene in your mind. It's late 1917, right? The entire world is at war. Everything feels completely uncertain. And for our two very pragmatic protagonists, grand, empty, romantic gestures, they just don't make any sense. Resources are tight, and everyday life demands this really steady, grounded mindset. So how exactly do you show profound affection during a global conflict? Well, you definitely don't do it with flashy displays. You do it with intense, focused attention.
I mean, we get a perfect sense of who we're dealing with right here. Lyle is writing to Emily, and she asks him what he's running low on. His response? Absolute dry wit. He says he needs ink and patience because his barracks-issue pen nigs are, and I quote, made from the same material they use for bayonets. It's brilliant. He's dealing with this super frustrating daily annoyance, but instead of complaining, he just drops this sharp, hilarious observation. That shared humor and quiet practicality, that's the absolute engine of their relationship.
Section 1. November in San Diego. The settling in.
Okay, so we start out in this unhurried, sun-warmed November. The famous Santa Ana winds have finally died down. And if we look at their daily lives, it's a pretty stark contrast. Over in Lyle's world at the Marine PX, he's gearing up for the holiday rush, Marines sending money back home. Because he's been an auditor since he was 20, his brain is all numbers and efficiency, so he quietly just doubles the money order stock. Meanwhile, over in Emily's world at Marston's department store, she's deep in the retail trenches. She's navigating limited stocks of French kid gloves and keeping up with rapid-fire administrative gossip from her coworker Gladys. Honestly, it just goes to show that holiday retail stress hasn't changed a bit in over a century.
Section 2. The blueprint of a perfect gift. The gift of observation.
Now, here's the central challenge for them, finding that perfect practical gift. Neither of them wants some useless trinket. They want to use those highly analytical brains of theirs to find something genuinely useful. So Emily goes to work like a detective. First off, she totally skips the French kid gloves her store is pushing, obviously super impractical for a Marine living in barracks. Instead, she analyzes his actual daily routine. He handles money, tracks figures, and writes her letters. She remembers this leather notebook he uses for inventory. And then it hits her. That whole bayonet pen nib problem he joked about? She realizes the absolute best gift is something that seamlessly disappears into his everyday routine, making it just a little bit better.
And Lyle, well, he treats his side of the gift exchange like a highly classified 6-week military op. Step 1. Observation. Back on a random Thursday in October, he notices Emily quietly adjusting her bag to keep a broken clasp closed. She doesn't complain, she just deals with it. Step 2. Intel gathering. He writes to a contact, Charlie Morrison, to get a sketch of the perfect replacement bag from Marston's. Step 3 is where you see the real dedication. He saves up his tiny Marine private salary for 6 whole weeks. And finally, Step 4, he coordinates a stealthy 3-minute purchase window with Gladys, literally right under Emily's nose at the store. For Lyle, making Emily's unspoken problem just vanish, that was 100% his love language.
Section 3. A 1917 Thanksgiving. The convergence.
Fast forward to November 29th. The families converge, and they are packing 10 people around Della Carringer's legendary Thanksgiving table. The house is completely bursting at the seams, and the family dynamics are just comedy gold. You've got Georgia doing silent, comprehensive kitchen inspections and making bread pudding. Out in the parlor, Austin is telling this wild story about a disaster at Rockwell Field where the military tried to cook 40 turkeys at once and completely failed at the math. Then there's Davy, talking about getting lost for an hour trying to find a farm stand someone visited almost a decade ago. And my favorite, 15-year-old Maybelle, who has decided retail is way better than school, simply because bad customers eventually leave, but bad classmates come back the next day. It just brings this 1917 gathering to life so perfectly.
But amid all that chaos, there's this incredible sense of deep connection. Take the gravy, for example. Not a single lump. Why? Because of subtle family teamwork. Georgia spotted a critical moment with the gravy and just quietly stepped in to save it. Della didn't say a word, just gave her a look of pure gratitude. It's that exact same quiet problem-solving we're seeing with Emily and Lyle. And then Austen offers this really earnest wartime grace, taking a quiet moment to acknowledge those serving far from home.
As November bleeds into December, you can really feel the anticipation building. We've gone from all that careful planning in early November right through the warmth of Thanksgiving, and suddenly it's December 24th, Christmas Eve. Lyle has his Liberty Pass, there's church, a quiet supper, gingerbread on the table, and some pretty fitful sleep on a living room couch before a trolley ride the very next morning. The build-up is just perfect, propelling us right into the high emotion of Christmas morning.
Section 4, the Christmas exchange, the payoff.
Okay, so here we are, the emotional climax in the Carringer house. Imagine the smell of pine boughs on the mantel and fresh baking everywhere. There's a modest tree in the corner covered in glass ornaments Lyle has known since he was a kid. He reaches under the tree and opens Emily's gift. It's a black-barreled Waterman pen, a medium nib, 2 bottles of ink, and proper writing paper. He tests it out on a scrap of wrapping paper, and it lays down this beautiful, fluid line. Goodbye, bayonet pen. And the card she included? It just says, for the letters, write me many. So practical, but oh my gosh, so incredibly romantic. He tells her it's exactly right, and she just smiles and says, I know.
Now, it's Emily's turn. She unwraps this beautiful brown calfskin bag. You can almost feel her running her hand over the leather. She tests the brass clasp, and it shuts with this incredibly clean, decisive click. She opens it up and sees all the inner pockets, perfectly organized with the exact logic of someone who truly understands what a working woman needs to carry every day.
She looks up, putting it all together. She says, the clasp on my old bag was giving me trouble. And Lyle? He just looks at her and says, I know. I noticed in October. Wow. That perfectly captures the profound intimacy of this moment, right? It's the intimacy of a partner noticing a tiny, annoying burden you've been carrying around, and then using their time and resources to just quietly, permanently fix it for you.
Emily is stunned. She says, I didn't say anything. And Lyle responds, no, that's why I noticed. I mean, come on, this sparse, heavily loaded dialogue is the entire heart of our explainer. It proves that the absolute greatest gift isn't some expensive, flashy trinket, it's being truly deeply seen by someone else. Because she didn't complain, he knew he had to pay extra close attention.
And as a perfect epilogue to this incredible morning, later that day, after the roast beef and rolls, Georgia's famous lemon cake finally makes its appearance. It gets assessed, deemed absolutely perfect, and then vanishes in a record 12 minutes flat. When Georgia points out that they ate it even faster than last time, Lyle just shrugs and admits he simply wanted more of it. What a completely heartwarming, funny end to a truly beautiful day.
So, we've seen how Lyle and Emily elevated practical observation into an actual art form. They paid attention to the unsaid things, a struggling clasp, a scratching pen. So I want to leave you with this. What small detail could you notice to show someone they are truly seen today? Try applying their century-old art of practical love in your own life. Thank you so much for exploring this story with me, and I'll see you next time.